It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
It's good to have you working around the boat with us again today on ShipShape TV. I'm John Greviskis, and welcome to America's favorite boat improvement show. If you're wondering what I'm doing down here, I'm measuring for a new subfloor. Today we're going to be looking at actually fabricating a new part to fill in this area. We've got a very special guest with us today. His name is Rick Hopp. He's with Fiberglass Coatings, and this guy is a fiberglass expert. We're going to be talking about plugs, molds, and how to build a part. We're going to look at our different options here, as well as how to install some bilge pumps. We'll look at location, we'll look at wiring, as well as hoses. Get ready for a couple more great ways to make your boat ShipShape.
ShipShape, America's favorite boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by
Brevard Boat Sales, Florida's East Coast Sea Ray dealer. And by WLRQ, Light Rock 99.3 FM. And by Boathouse Discount Marine. If you need it, we probably have it. And by Boaters World Discount Marine Centers. Real low prices, guaranteed.
Nick, we've got a pretty big hole to fill here. It's 53 3/4 inches wide by 55 1/2. What are we going to do?
That is a big area to cover, John. And we've got to, before we decide, what and how we're going to do something here, is we've got to, let's call it a little bit of engineering here. We've got to lay out what we need from it. What are our requirements? I got to have a way to get into the battery switches. We've got 3 switches. We also have fuel filters and shutoff valves. We're in an emergency you're going to want to get at relatively quick. And something that concerns me from the mechanical point of view, and I love the rig stuff, so I'm concerned about all my wires and cables that are coming from the dash to the back, and then from in this compartment, the battery cables and such, they have to go back to the engine. So I need an area for these wires to go back and forth, so I can't close this off completely.
All right, well, for those of you at home that have been following this project boat, we've removed all of the battery switches and fuel filters in order to paint our engine compartment down here. But Nick, what if we cut a piece of plywood, glassed it, and then rolled some non-skid? Boom, that's going to fill the hole. It's going to be quick and easy.
It probably is the easiest way out, and I hate to say this because I don't want to create too much more work for myself here or us. I don't think I can do it here, John. We've got too much effort and time into this boat. We've got a molded non-skid deck, and I'd hate to scab something in the top and have it not really be the same.
So we want something that's going to look a little bit more cosmetically appealing.
Absolutely.
What if we build a plug, and then from the plug we made a mold, and from the mold we made a new part?
Now we're talking work.
That's a lot of work.
That's an awful lot of work.
Did I tell you that I got a shed for you? We're going to put it right out back next to the sailboat.
Man, you got to move the kids in too, because I'm going to be here a while. I've done some tooling in the past, as you know, and it's probably the ultimate way to finish out this job. It's going to cost some money. It's going to cost a lot of labor, but it's doable.
Okay. We did have some existing parts. We were very fortunate with this. We had like a horseshoe type hatch, like subfloor.
It was like an outer ring, I think.
Exactly.
Right? Warped a little bit.
We had a hatch up front, like a quick access hatch, and then we had a engine compartment, an engine box.
It came up high, I think.
Right, it sat on the I.O.
Okay.
Now, what if we took those parts, cut them up, and scabbed something together?
That's perfect. That would be timeline-wise and ease of putting this thing together would probably make the most sense.
You know, we could keep our non-skid and everything. That's what we chose to do. In fact, we want to show you how far we've come along with it. Come on down with us and we'll get going. Now, we scabbed this thing together yesterday, Nick, and I was hoping you could tell the audience how we went about doing that.
Wasn't that bad, John. It was actually easier than I had originally envisioned this project to be. First thing we did is we went by and we went around our existing parts with a magic marker, and we marked the areas in which we were going to reuse, and then again the areas in which we needed to cut off.
And that's what we did next. We cut those areas off with a die grinder, and we cut the rain gutters off. We also cut our the top of the engine compartment off.
And that was probably the brunt of the work, was cutting the gutters off. Once they were out of the way, we took that top of the engine hatch, or the engine box, and we centered it up in the area to give us what we call an even reveal.
Now this is the reveal area right here. It's about a 2-inch gap all the way around our non-skid pattern.
Correct.
Here, right? Okay.
Once we had the hatch centered up, we applied some stiffening boards or some banting boards across the top of the two pieces to try to make them straight.
Now that was to help us take some of the bow that was in our U-shape part and kind of pull it up.
That's right. Along with that, we wanted to bring about 2 degrees of camber to the top of the hatch to prevent any water from puddling. Once I had that hatch centered up, we flipped it over and put in some slats or first sticks in between those big gaps, so that was a less amount of area that we needed to fill. And we glassed everything together with 2 layers of 2408 knitted biaxial.
Using some epoxy on that fiberglass.
Correct.
Well, right now we need to go to break, but stick around because when we come back, we're going to actually fair the rest of our hatch or subfloor together. Stay with us.
Here's what's coming up next on ShipShape TV.
We now return to ShipShape TV.
Welcome back.
No more frozen snaps and zippers with the Sure Hold Snap Stick. The easy-to-apply wax is specifically designed to lubricate snaps, zippers, and other mechanical fasteners that are susceptible to corrosion. Add protection and lubricate valuable parts in just a matter of seconds. Stop fighting with snaps and zippers and add a quick dab of water-resistant Sure Hold Snap Stick. Sure Hold. Clean and simple.
What we have here are some of the rain gutters attached to our subfloor. And Nick, why don't you tell us how we got to this point?
Well, John, we were very fortunate here to the fact that we had some pieces to work with. We didn't have to make anything. We were able to cut off the rails, as we did earlier, and then reuse them. So I ground down the longer piece to fit it along this back area, and I wanted to go the same height to keep the same uniform look, and then clamped it into place, measured here and here for this little dog leg, and cut 2 more pieces and screwed them in.
Now, the reason that we need these rain gutters is we need a way to divert the water when it's raining on deck, and this is going to divert it either into this scupper over here on the starboard side or our port side scupper. We don't want that water going into a bilge, because if it does, if you get too much water, you lose a battery or something like that.
Bad storm, whatever.
You could sink if you're in the water.
Yep, no good.
Or you could sink on a trailer, and you don't want that to happen.
That does happen too.
You can ruin a lot of equipment, so it's just best to go ahead and have rain gutters.
Definitely.
Now, Nick, we're going to actually bond these things in place with a product that Fiberglass Coatings puts out. It's called Super Bond, and what it is it's an epoxy adhesive. It's a 1-to-1 mixture, and you know, when you're dealing with regular epoxy, you've got a couple of problems. We've got some large gaps.
Big gap in here. That's why we put the wood in to try to take up some of that gap.
If we use regular epoxy, it could heat up, get a little too hot, and crack on us, or it's going to run out.
Yeah, we won't be able to hold it in place.
You know, we're not going to be able to dam this thing up.
Now you say this is a paste?
This is like a putty
Okay.
kind of mixture, and we're actually going to be able to drag the material into our large gap, and it cures in about 6 minutes. I mean,
my goodness.
this stuff cures real
And it's
fast.
epoxy, so we're talking strong.
We're going to lay a bed for our rain gutters, But before we can do that, we need to tape off our area with a good quality masking tape. We don't want the epoxy getting onto our non-skid.
No, we'll spend hours digging that stuff out.
How's that stuff coming?
Unbelievable consistency, John. I can see you using this in a spot like even where you got to get upside down and stick something and have it not fall. Looks really good.
Great. Well, let me put a bed down here. Get our rain gutter going. I'm just going to kind of glop the stuff down, and then you just kind of form it. Now, how long will it take for this stuff to get hot, Nick?
Apparently, it's going to start kicking in about 6 minutes, and it's actually sandable in like 10.
You're kidding me.
No, that's pretty good.
Unbelievable. Well, now, what we're going to do here is we're going to put it on the actual deck and the part, and wait for this stuff to get hot. And speaking of hot things, let's have a look at this new boat. I think you'll like it.
My assignment this week is to check out the first ever, never seen before, new Sea Ray mid-cabin 290 Sundancer. This boat is equipped with twin MerCruiser 4.3-liter V6 stern drives. I'm really impressed with how quiet and smooth these engines are. The twin stern drives make maneuvering around the fuel dock a piece of cake. Cruise is a comfortable 25 miles per hour with a top speed of 40, making long trips seem brief. Visibility over the bow is exceptional considering its high decks. This boat rides naturally through the water with almost no need for the standard trim tabs. The 10'2" beam gives this 29-footer the ride that some 40-foot sedans would envy.
Mainly I purchased the Sea Ray because of the quality of the boat. We've had other boats before and they just don't compare. This boat drives very easily and I absolutely love it.
With more than 50 models ranging from 14 to 65 feet, Sea Ray is the world's largest manufacturer of superior quality pleasure boats. That's real obvious here on the 290 Sundancer. All 8 Sea Ray manufacturing facilities have been certified by the International Organization of Standards. Sea Ray is the only recreational boat company to receive the most stringent evaluation in the boating world, ISO 9002.
The reason the Sea Ray's resale value is so high is the incredible amount of workmanship that goes into every Sea Ray. Some of the boats are built on Merritt Island, and we do factory tours, so come on down and sign up for a tour.
This portside wet bar stands ready for entertaining. This convenient cockpit dining table with sun pads is standard. Full-size transom door eases access to the large swim platform with built-in retractable ladder. I did notice a need for a grab rail when climbing up with dive gear on. This convenient fender locker is also located at the stern. Controls are easily reached with good view of the custom gauges from this double helm seat with flip-up thigh rise. Below, the first thing I noticed was the open layout and natural flow. The head is located just inside with plenty of storage and a large shower. Laid out for convenience, the galley offers a large sink, dual burner stove, refrigerator freezer combo, and microwave. This boat is also equipped with air conditioning and generator. Turning this sofa into a dining room is easy. Just remove the table from under the forward bunk and pop it in place. The mid-cabin conversion is spacious and unique. The bolster cushions double as the bunk filler pad, covering more storage. Large closets are big enough for full-length dresses and formal wear. This full-size forward bunk has a curtain that, when pulled, offers total privacy.
We're Brevard Boat Sales. We've been a Sea Ray dealer for 3 years now, and we're very excited to be the Sea Ray dealer. We do a lot of fun things with our customers. We have the Getaways programs where we do trips with our customers. We're going to the Bahamas this summer. It's just a lot of fun. Can't beat owning a Sea Ray.
With sleeping accommodations for 6 people and a complete galley, the 290 Sundancer makes a great getaway boat. By far the best designed mid-cabin boat in the industry. This boat scores high in the engineering, layout, looks, and functionality categories. I'm Elizabeth Saunders reporting for ShipShape TV. Back to you, John.
I'm really liking what these manufacturers are putting out today, and I'd like to introduce real quick a good friend of mine. His name is Rick Hopp from Fiberglass Coatings in St. Petersburg. And Rick, thanks for being on the show. Wanted to have you explain to our audience why you might want to tool a plug. We have a plug here for a hull bottom. Why would somebody maybe need to go through the trouble of making something like this?
Sure, John. What we have here is a plug that was formed and shaped out of some plywood, and it was made so they could make multiple parts that would exactly duplicate this, and they were done by laminating this mold that come from this plug.
Okay, so the first thing they did is they tooled this, and then they actually built a mold off of this. This is an exact reverse. This is the plug being a male part, and this mold
being a female
is a female part, and there you have a perfect fit.
That's it.
Now this is when you want to make multiple fiberglass parts. You go through the trouble of making a plug and making a mold. A lot of guys out there don't need to have multiple parts. They need one part. They might need one hatch, or they might need one of this or one of that. How do they go about doing
And they need to find the simplest way they can, and in a lot of applications you can just do it with making it out of plywood. You can make a form out of plywood and fill it the radiuses and laminate your hatch, and you're done, John.
Absolutely. Now, we couldn't go through that. We couldn't like just roll non-skid. We just felt that the boat and the project was worth more than that. We wanted to save our non-skid pattern. Do you guys carry like different non-skid patterns to where maybe if somebody is trying to keep a hatch in uniform with the rest of his deck, that you've got that stuff?
Yeah, John, there are companies that manufacture non-skid patterns that are available, and they could be put into a plywood surface. In your case, it just happened to work out where the non-skids did line up after we measured them all out.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for all the advice on this. Let's turn it on back over to Nick and see how he's coming along with our subfloor. Nick, how's it going?
Doing pretty good, John. Our super bond really set up nice, and we were able to use our radius tool and get in and set a nice clean radius with one shot, so we don't have to go back and really mess with it too much on the second try. Then we mixed up a bunch more, and we filled up all the gaps in between our little wood filler strip and the outer hatch ring, and of course the new hatch, which is one piece. And we only had one other thing we needed to do, and that was to set an area in front of the small access hatch, which we're going to need to get into to the battery boxes and fuel filters, etc. So we took another piece of the gutter which we had, and we used it again. So we've done all of the fiberglass work on this by using existing parts. We really lucked out. Looks like we need to take a short break, but stay with us, guys. When we come back, John and I are going to finish fairing this out and bring it up to the boat and see how it fits.
Here's what's coming up next on ShipShape TV.
Do it all with a SureHold telescoping handle. Designed with the easy-to-use SureLock quick release system, compatible with over 50 different attachments, transforming it into a deck brush handle, squeegee handle, swivel pad base handle, chamois mop handle, camera handle, floor broom handle, boat hook handle, water blade handle, landing net handle, even a threaded handle for equipment you already own, and more. Fully telescopic for easy storage or adjusting to the perfect length. Each SureHold telescoping handle is proudly made in the USA and is truly the one handle that does it all. SureHold. Clean and simple.
And now, back to the project.
Welcome back to the show. I've mixed up some marine filler and I applied it onto our hatch, and I've got it pretty much sanded down and faired in. I think I need to add another coat, but I wanted to show you something. Back here, we had a hinge that was held on by some aluminum pop rivets, and over the years, they corroded. So what I did is I drilled them out. I'll fair this in as well on my final fair, and we'll go ahead and make that flush, and that way I can use some stainless steel screws and screw it back in. On my final fair, what you want to look to do is take a pencil and circle any imperfections, any low spots or any chips or any gouges. When you're working with this material, we want to get it nice and smooth. And again, I don't know if you saw us when we were painting our boat, we're going to be painting this hatch with signature paint. I'm using 80 grit paper here. I'll then hit it all with 180 grit and we'll be ready to paint. Nick, why don't you show us how to install those bilge pumps?
Thanks, John. Looks like the hatch is coming along really nice. I want to take this time to go over some basic bilge pump installation instructions and misnomers as to things that you don't really understand about bilge pumps and what's good and what's bad in the world of bilge pumps. One of the most important things on your boat is your bilge pump. Believe me, nobody wants to have their boat sink. Insurance or not, your boat's never the same once it sinks. Let's keep it from happening. We chose for our project boat 2 Rule 1500 pumps. I believe in twin bilge pumps, especially in an offshore situation. I will wire these pumps to separate batteries, creating a fail-safe situation if one battery goes dead, whatever. Let's talk about the basic components. What I have here is the Rule 1500 pump. I have a Rule-O-Matic Plus float switch. We've got our Perco discharge. This is bronze. I don't believe in plastic through holes through the side of a boat. You hit a dock, they rot, they crack off, you got a problem. Go with good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, hose. I've got the Shields Bilge Vac hose. This is the better of the bilge pump hoses. This is your normal bilge pump hose. You're going to see this on most every boat. I find after years this stuff will dry rot and crack. It's not bad hose. You get what you pay for. Buy the better hose. It's well worth it. Speaking of better things, I really like the Ultra Safety System Ultimate float switches. This is a 5-year warranty float switch. It attaches to the side of the pump with a clamp that comes with it. I've never changed these switches. I've been using them myself for almost 10 years. I've never had a failure. Real good stuff. It's a little more expensive. Again, you get what you pay for. Another good idea would be a bilge pump alarm. You have an alarm, your bilge pump's going off, the alarm goes off, it lets you know you're sinking, you could be sleeping on your boat. Another good thing to have on the boat. Now let's talk about wiring. When we wired the boat, if you remember, we ran a 14-3 triplex wire back to our bilge area, 1 per pump. It takes 3 wires to run an automatic bilge pump system. All right, let's go over where they go and what they do. You've got a ground going to the bilge pump. That's simple. We then have a positive going to the bilge pump, which is going to go to the switch on your dash. When you turn that switch on, it's going to activate the pump. We then have the automatic wire. Now this automatic wire has to go to a constant 12 volt. Don't put it to an area in which when you turn the battery switch off, that it's going to be dead. This has to be constant 12 volts, even with the battery switch off. If your boat's in the water, you always want 12 volts here, and fuse it. Fuse it right here, get it high up out of the water. In case this float switch fails or burns up, you're going to pop the fuse and not burn your boat up over it. That's about it. Right now we need to take a break. Stay around because when we come back, John and I are going to fit the hatch in the project boat.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
We now return to ShipShape TV.
The SureHold One Bucket System is your storage and detailing solution. Featuring an ergonomic corrosion-free rope handle, a bucket caddy to organize your supplies and lift them out with ease, a bucket grate to elevate your wash tools out of dirty water with integrated soap measuring cups, a bucket base that won't let your bucket scratch, tip, or slip, and a bucket lid that keeps tools secure and doubles as a comfortable seat. The SureHold One Bucket System, the world's best rope handle 5-gallon bucket. SureHold, clean and simple.
Welcome back. Here's our hatch, all done. We've gone ahead and finished the fairing. Now we're going to see if she fits. And Nick, what do you think? Is it close?
Oh yeah, it's in. No problem,
Oh,
John.
look at that.
Very good.
Now we also have our little hatch here, which is going to fit into place. Now, we do need to put another strip of fiberglass under here to catch any rain.
Yeah, we'll put a little receiver in.
Put a little weather stripping in, and this baby's done.
We got it. Maybe a couple stiffener boards across the hatch.
Good job. Once this thing is painted, it's going to match perfectly. It's really going to look great.
Yeah.
Nice job. Well, we're about out of time. We have something special. We would like you to send in a picture of your project boat, and if we pick it as the project boat of the week, we'll show it on TV, and we're going to send you out a ship-shaped t-shirt absolutely free. It even comes with a pocket. We're out of time. Until next week, guys, keep your boat ship-shaped. I'm thinking, Nick, with this receipt.